Let's go to the main menu and click Tools. In the search box menu, type in Factbook as seen here, then in the menu below under Reference, click Factbook. The Factbook window has opened at my left. Now the reason you're seeing Babylon the Great is because that's the last search I ran in the Factbook. So Factbook will remember the last thing you searched on. Let's change this. Therefore, click inside the search box as seen here. Please type salvation. Notice the drop-down menu and the various options you have. By the way, when you float your mouse over the menu choices, sometimes you'll get a pop-up, in this case, Salvation Preaching Theme. The key is to look at the icons. That will inform you of the type of search choice and also what's in gray. So if we look at the first one, we see the chat icon, the word salvation, and then we see salvation, deliverance, preaching theme. So chat icon, message icon, preaching theme. Then we see two leaves, the word salvation, counseling theme. So the leaves represent the counseling theme. The little alpha character, salvation, we can see in gray is noun sense. Let's choose the first one, salvation, preaching theme. In Logos 9, Logos has added a new section to the Factbook. It's called Key Article. Go ahead and click it. Now, the key article typically is from a Logos resource, and the article is designed to summarize the basic information. In other words, give you a quick overview. So it really is handy to have a quick article to summarize what you're looking up. In this case, salvation. Now let's click on Key Article to collapse this section. Let's once again click in the search box for the Factbook located here. Notice when you re-click in the search box, the search term salvation in this example stays the same and you get access once again to the drop-down menu. This allows you to do additional searches without having to retype in your search term. Now let's go back to the search box and click in it. Go ahead and replace salvation with the word Genesis for the book of Genesis. You'll notice that Logos has changed the icon. We now see two tablets next to one another to represent a book of the Bible. Notice too in the gray text it says Genesis book name text. Now this feature's been around for some time, but I thought I'd revisit it because it's important to remember that you can use Factbook to overview a book of the Bible. So let's go ahead and choose Book of Genesis, that first item in the list. Once again, click Key Article as seen here. Here we have an overview of the Book of Genesis from the Lexham Bible Dictionary. Let's go ahead and collapse this section by clicking Key Article once again. Let's click the next section, Media, as seen here. Logos will search your library for any media related to the Book of Genesis. Notice the two additional search options below. Open in Media Tool, which will allow you to export these images to PowerPoint, but also search all media for Book of Genesis, so you can go deeper into your library and find additional images. Let's go ahead and close this section by clicking on Media. Go ahead and click Events section. The Events section will identify every single event in the Book of Genesis. You'll need to click the More button to get more details, but nevertheless, in one place, you can get all the major events. This is really handy. Let's close this section by clicking Events once again. The Bible Book Guide is a new section in the Factbook, but the contents that it includes is not. What Logos has done is consolidated all the information about a book into this one section, which in my opinion is really a great help and time saver. So let's go ahead and click Bible Book Guide. As you can see, there's several sections here. Let's click Content to expand this section. The Content section has three essential parts. First is the overview, which will be links to the introductory part of a commentary. Second, it will have a link to outlines in the commentaries. And third, it will have a link to the contents of the commentary. In other words, that part of the commentary where you get an explanation. Let's go ahead and click on Content to close this section. The Origin section comprises of three parts. First is authorship. This will take you to the place in the commentary where you can learn about the author of that particular Bible book. There's a date section which will spend time and give you links to the dating of the book. The third section includes purpose, and that is, what is the purpose of this particular Bible book? Now remember, these are links to commentaries in your library. Logos does the hard work of bringing all that to you easily. Let's go ahead and click on Origin to close this section. Go ahead and click Background to expand this section. The background section comprises of two parts. Historical context is the first one. That includes information about the historical setting when the book was written. The second item is location, and this is to help you understand where the book was written in the world and when it was written. Let's go ahead and close this section by clicking on Background. Go ahead and click on Objects to expand this section. The Objects section includes two parts, Geography and Key Figures. For Geography, it's going to be links to maps, charts, and the geographical background of a book. Key Figures will link you to important people mentioned in the Bible. This will include, like, for example, in Genesis, Adam and Eve. Go ahead and click on Objects to collapse this section. Go ahead and click and expand the section labeled Canon. The purpose of the Canon section is to help you understand a particular book in the Bible and its relationship to other books in the Bible. It includes a section called Relationship, which we'll focus on, for example, in Genesis, its relationship to the Pentateuch, that is, the first 5 books of the Bible. Then it deals with placement, and that is, where is it in the canon? Then there is historicity, which is going to focus on the facts of each book of the Bible, why we believe what's in this book is genuine historical information. Let's go ahead and click on Canon to close this section. Go ahead and click on Form to expand this section. The section Form is going to focus on the actual literature of the particular Bible book you're studying. The first section in it is Unity, which is going to look at the whole book as a unit of literature. Composition is going to get into the author and the style and the genre and other details related to the actual writing itself. The next section in here is the text section. In here you're going to learn about the background of maybe the manuscripts and other important details related to this book. Now, I should stress at this point that some books will have more written on these topics than others, and also length of a book will make a big difference as well. The title section will dig into the history of why the book is named what it is. There's a style section, and this will look at more literary elements or style of the particular book. So, for example, Genesis is historical narrative. Psalms is poetry. The last section is structure, and this will look at how the book is organized structurally. So, for example, in Proverbs, you have a lot of parallelism. In the case of Genesis, you have certain features of the book, like the Toledot, which is the list of the genealogies and records. This is a lot of information to explore. Fortunately, Logos has organized this for you to just simply click and read. Let's go ahead and click on Form to close this section. Go ahead and click on Meaning to expand. The Meaning section has some pretty interesting elements. The first one is theme. This is really important to understand the big high-level picture. That is, what are the major themes and topics in a particular book? Emphases will focus on subtopics and other subjects related to the book. The interpretation section will help you and guide you in how to interpret this particular book. And you need to know, as you approach each different book of the Bible, what to be sensitive to when you're interpreting. The next section is message, and again, that's just going to get at the heart of what the book is all about. The theology element will look at theological themes and significant theological insights related to the book. Significance will look at the importance of the book, not only to the whole canon, but also for our contemporary use and application. The last section is titled Spiritual Content. Now, this is kind of unique because it will link you to different commentaries where there may be some questions for you to consider, things to meditate upon, etc. Let's go ahead and close this section by clicking on Form. Let's click and expand the Additional Information section, as seen here. This last section will essentially link you to bibliographies and other additional materials to read and study on this particular book of the Bible. Let's go ahead and click on Additional Information to close this section. We'll skip over dictionaries, which simply is a section with dictionaries that will give you background information on the book of the Bible you're studying. Let's go ahead instead and click on Journals to expand that section. Now, if you have journals in your library, you will see some links here. These particular journals are journals that are focusing on this book of the Bible. Journals are like commentaries, and these journals will give you specific insights to the book you're studying. Go ahead and click on Journals to close the Journal section. The Sermons section will identify sermons that focus on this book of the Bible. In this case, no sermons came back. Go ahead and expand Books from your library by clicking on this section. In the Books from your library section, Logos is going to find additional resources that study, in this case, the book of Genesis. This can be really helpful because you can be so focused on commentaries that you don't realize you have other books in your library that can help you study, in this case, the book of Genesis. Go ahead and click on Books from your library to close this section. Go ahead and click on Bookstore to expand that section. Here, Logos will search the Logos store for books on Genesis. This is a great way to see what other books are available to purchase related to the book of the Bible you're studying. Go ahead and click on Bookstore to collapse this section. Let's click and expand the last section labeled See Also. In the See Also section, think of this as a catch-all or miscellaneous section. The purpose of this section is to help you find related topics or to open up a topic guide to study further topics related to the book of Genesis. There's also a workflow link that will actually help you study this particular biblical topic. There's links to more information about the author, in this case Moses, also related individual, which is essentially person, places, and things, and other related concepts and topics. And then at the very end, there is a search for Book of Genesis. This is a giant search that will look through your whole library and find anything related to the Book of Genesis. Wow, that is a lot of information under one report. And that's why typing in the name of a book of a Bible in the fact book is such a powerful tool. Now, there's some other things you need to be aware of this new fact book. So let's go back to the top and click in the search box. There's an interesting section in the list. See there where it says List of Events in the Book of Genesis? Go ahead and click that option. Go ahead and click Key Article. Logos has this resource, lists of biblical people, places, things, and events. This is all gathered here under the Key Article. So again, it's a nice way to just get a quick list of the events in the book that you're studying. Let's go back to the top and click in the search box located here. Let's go ahead and delete the search contents and simply type in the city Jerusalem. Notice in the search box below that we get the icon of a castle or home next to the word Jerusalem. Go ahead and click that castle icon. Now the fact book will give you a lot of information about the city of Jerusalem. One section to bring to your attention is this section labeled Referred to As. Go ahead and click and expand that section. In this section, Logos will identify the related terms used for Jerusalem, both in Greek and in Hebrew. Now, sometimes it will be the actual word, Jerusalem, but it might be other related terms. For example, Jerusalem is called Zion. That'll be in the list. Or in Hebrew, it's called the city of David, or simply a city or town. So this section can truly help you study a city comprehensively, even if it's named something different in another text. Let's go ahead and click on Referred to As to collapse this section. Now I've scrolled down and expanded the See Also section to show you how this See Also section has changed based on what we're searching for. Again, we're still searching for Jerusalem, but look what we have. Places nearby, topics, guides, workflows, related and further reading, and then there's an ultimate search for Search Jerusalem. So the fact book is really adapting to whatever you're looking for. A person, a place, a thing, a topic, a book of the Bible. So remember, these sections of content will change based on what you're looking for. Let's go back to the fact book search box and click in it, as seen here. I also wanted to point out this interesting element in the menu listed below. List of figurative language related to Jerusalem. Go ahead and click that option. Now I've expanded the key article section. If you have this book, you'll see this Jerusalem from lists of words and concepts. And if you look below, you can see these different ideas of figurative language related to Jerusalem. Lamp of New Jerusalem, heavenly Jerusalem as God. So this can really help expand your understanding and the way this particular city is mentioned throughout the scriptures in a figurative way. Let's go back to the top and click in the search box as seen here. In the fact book, you can type phonetically Greek and Hebrew words. So for example, the Greek word agape, I've typed in AGAP, and you can see the list below not only includes Greek lemmas, but also any other related words that have the letters AGAP. Go ahead and click on agape, the Greek word in the list. Notice once again that Logos gives us a key article overviewing the word. Essentially, this is a mini word study. Now, if you scroll down in this section, you'll see that you have Septuagint references, alternate book references, for example, Apostolic Fathers, and even commentary articles. Each one of these resources is going to talk about this word love and give you additional insights. If you scroll down, the last section is journal articles. This is really neat because it will help you find a specific journal article that focuses on this particular word, and that is really handy. Notice at the bottom, you see further reading, and again, another resource for additional information. Now, if you scroll down to the very last section, you can see the See Also option. It gives you a link to the Bible Word Study Guide, and if you click it, it'll open up a Bible Word Study report for the word we're studying, and then you have the kind of catch-all search for agape. So, you now have another tool in your arsenal for word studies.